It's finally spring, officially spring, and I am so incredibly happy, as are probably most gardeners. It means that new growth is starting, that the summer garden is not far away, and that we can start planting and doing a lot more with plants and seeds out in the garden. And this week in the allotment garden, I spent a lot of time mulching my beds. And what that entails is putting a thin layer of compost or aged manure on top of the beds, and that suppresses weeds and it feeds the soil, and it gets the growing spaces prepared for the plants and the seeds to come. Also, a great thing to be doing this time of the year is planting first early potatoes. And traditionally, you plant them between St. Patrick's Day and Good Friday. And here on the Isle of Man, the tradition is to plant them on Good Friday and then harvest them on Tynwald Day, which is July 5th. I got them in a little bit earlier than that, just because I was so eager to get them in. And it's also quite a good temperature for planting potatoes here on the island. It may not be where you are, so definitely check your soil temperatures and outside temperatures before you go ahead. In the allotment garden, I managed to get in 8 seed potatoes, and they're all Red Duke of York, which is a red-skinned early potato, and I've been chitting them here at home in the porch. And I have 2 potatoes left. And being that we're not going to be here at the home garden this year, we'll be moving soon. I know I keep saying that, but it really is going to happen very soon. The only real planting that I can do is in containers. And I actually have a little bit of an experiment that I would like to do this year, and I'm going to start it off today. I have these 2 seed potatoes left, Red Duke of York, and I'm going to be planting them in the same size container. And this container is about 11.5 inches tall, and it's about a foot, so 12 inches wide at the top. And if you've grown potatoes before, you know that we are told to earth them up. So plant them shallowly, cover them with a mulch, and then as they start growing, you cover the foliage with more and more compost, or you earth up the soil just to give them more soil to grow into, to produce more tubers, and to protect the potatoes from turning green. But I suspect that it doesn't really apply to growing potatoes in containers. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to plant one potato quite deeply, and then the second one, I will plant it at the same depth, but I will earth it up. So I will continue to add compost and manure, so aged manure, as the plant grows, and that's a traditional way. And then at the end, I want to see how they've done, measure in weight how much as far as potatoes is going to grow or ends up growing in each of these containers. And also I'll be taking some notes as to when I can first see green foliage popping up from the soil, just to compare them, because as you know, as a gardener, anything that can save time so you can get more done is going to be really beneficial. Why create extra work when you don't have to? Now, as I've said, I have 2 containers. They're the exact same size, plastic. They've got drainage at the bottom. You can grow potatoes in practically any type of container, though, given that it's big enough. And there is a YouTuber who's completely focuses on growing in containers, free containers that he finds, and he uses 8-inch pots, and his harvests are incredible. So I have high hopes for this size. Last year, I also grew in the bags that compost comes in, and they did really well as well. So if you don't have these on hand, or you've got limited resources, just use what you have available, and oftentimes that's waste, like those plastic bags. Now, just to stop the compost from coming out through the holes at the bottom, I'm just going to line the bottom of each of these with a thin layer of newspaper, and this will break down over time as well. The ink is not an issue at all when it comes to toxicity, so don't be concerned about that at all. Okay, so those are lined. In here, I have mixed together in equal parts, roughly, multi-purpose compost, so potting mix, and aged manure. And it's a really nice growing medium, nothing fancy. And I will continue to use the same mix as I earth up the second container. I have my ruler here as well. And these containers are about 11.5 inches deep, and that's all the way to the top. So what I'm going to do is plant the potatoes, I think 2 inches from the bottom. That should give them enough space to grow, maybe 3 inches. And then I will completely cover one, and then I will just cover the top of the other potato with a good couple of inches of compost, and then wait for it to show signs of green leaves before I do anything else. The potatoes are planted. At this point, I will remember which one is which, because this one has the potato planted with just 2, maybe 3 inches of compost on top. So this is the traditional method. And this one is my experiment, and it has compost all the way to the top. And both of them have the potatoes just a couple of inches from the bottom. I'm sure it'll work. We'll see later on this early summer how well they do, and if either is any better than the other as far as yield and energy efficiency, because we know that, again, saving time and effort in the garden is quite an attractive thing. Our little dining area is filled with my plants and seeds, and also squash that we haven't gotten through. You can see it pretty much everywhere. Of course, we've got Maggie here, who's got to be in the middle of everything. I'll be sowing some more seeds later on, including poppy, which is a little bit early, so it's going to be undercover. We've got also some verbena, and this is chamomile seed that I saved a couple of years ago. And all 3 of these need warmth to germinate, and they also need light. So you can't sow the seeds too deep, so right at the surface. And so I will be putting all 3 of those here into the propagator, which I will turn back on as soon as I have those all sown. These are just some extra onions that I have just sat there temporarily. The other onions are here underneath the grow lights. And we have some red sunrise, which is, as you can guess, a red onion. These are leeks here. This is Tadorna. And I have some more onions down here. I think these are stir-on. Yep, so these are yellow onion. And then the very first of my tomato seedlings are coming up. And we've got an Ailsa Craig down here, just one of them. We've got a few of the San Marzano here, actually quite a few. None so far of the Gardener's Delight, but they were quite old seeds from a seed swap, so I'm not sure what the germination rate for those will be. But the other ones are doing fine, and I will move the leeks and the onions out to the greenhouse pretty soon. I would say in the next couple of weeks. The greenhouse is much warmer, and it's here that I've started germinating some other seeds. The seedlings in this tray are beetroot, kohlrabi, perpetual spinach, and a lettuce mix. And although it's nice and toasty warm in here, it's not at night, but these guys don't matter. Not all seeds need a lot of warmth to germinate. They appreciate it, but they will still germinate. Moving over here, I've got some sweet peas that are coming up there, and I started those in the house, and I've just moved them out just so that they don't get too leggy. And then over here in this propagator, and this propagator will give these plants even more warmth here in the greenhouse. This is where I have planted small pots of a perpetual leek that I'm trying. And this is a perennial leek. and it takes some weeks for it to germinate. And you can see I planted it on the 4th of this month. And look here, I've literally just noticed this, the very first sprout. And I'm not sure if there's any more sprouts in any of the other modules. There are some. That one is definitely not a leek. I would say that is probably a rogue kohlrabi or something in the brassica family. And that looks like a rogue lettuce down there. I don't know how they got in, but this is definitely one of those little leeks. You can just tell. I overwinter a lot of plants in here, and it just protects them and keeps them from dying during winter, and also gives them a head start. So the chives you see here, look at how big they are, and we've been harvesting from them already. The chives that are outside in the patio bed are just starting to show. The fennel, look at that. It really is such a joy to have a greenhouse to grow in all year round, even if you don't heat it. Like me, I don't bother with heating it at all. And you can also save plants that would normally perish in cold weather. So this is a Cape gooseberry, thistleus. And I also showed how to propagate this from stem cuttings, I guess, what was that, end of last year in the autumn. And those little cuttings are doing great in the porch. And so I'll be dividing those up into their own containers very soon as well. This might look familiar. This is the strawberry pallet planter that I built for my book. And I've emptied it so that we can move it with us. And even after a year of growing strawberries in it, it's doing really good. It's pretty solid. These things won't last forever, but they do last for 3-4 years, sometimes longer. On the patio, I have quite a few plants waiting in containers for the move, including the strawberries that I had planted in that strawberry pallet planter. And I have transplanted them here into my Gardena Nature Up planter. And you can see they are actually starting to form some new leaves, which is a great sign. Spring is on its way. And I will be growing it this year, all of these plants, in that vertical planter. So I'll be stacking them back up once we move. There's still loads of this potting mix left over. And so I think I will finish up the afternoon by sowing some more seeds and planting some more things, including I've just planted this oca that had a single oca tuber kicking around, and also some mashua. And I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that correctly. It looks like a South American root vegetable. And a friend of mine at the allotment gave me 5 tubers. So I'll be interested to see how they grow this year and how they taste as well. I've never tasted them before. And as you can see here in the home garden, there are a lot of things growing. There are seedlings in the house, in the propagator, also under the grow lights, in the greenhouse, and most of what I grow in the allotment starts off at home. I start things off in modules because it's a much easier way for me to keep control of them, keep them away from pests, protect them if they need to be protected from weather or again from pests, and then I harden them off and I plant them out afterwards. And I actually have a video that I created last year showing how I grow things in modules. So if you'd like to learn a bit more, head over there and have a watch of that one. Another thing, I have those same Red Duke of York potatoes planted in a much more traditional way at the allotment garden. And so end of June, early July, when I do an update video on the container potatoes, I will also be comparing them against the yield and productivity and health of the potatoes I grew out there in a garden setting. So that will be really, really interesting. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time here on Lovely Greens. Bye for now. One last thing before you go. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you haven't subscribed already, please subscribe to Lovely Greens and click that little bell icon so that you get notifications for when new videos are out.